Alright, so I know this video has been a long time coming, but we figured there's no better time to drop this video
Then on my 1 year anniversary of owning my KTM 390.
Alright, so I guess we'll start off with the why we chose the 390 Adventure for Megan's first motorcycle. I'll start this off by saying one big reason why I kind of pushed her towards getting this bike was the fact that it comes factory with ABS. There's no need for her to worry when it comes to riding down the road. If she needs to stop, she can stop. And you just don't have that risk of locking the front tire up and washing out. Yeah, that's a skill people should learn, but it's nice that she just doesn't have to worry about learning that right now.
Even though it's a bike that's a little bit too big for me, I think it's a great starter bike because it's something I can grow into versus if we bought a bike that was smaller, I feel like 6 months, a year later down the road, we would have to be trading it in on something bigger anyway, so why not just go ahead and start with this. Plus, it came with the factory crash bars, and we know how much I drop it, so it works really well. Now what? I guess I could say that I really liked the XT250 a lot, but we realized like it wouldn't be able to do highway like speeds, and I wouldn't be comfortable on it, and I feel like that is the smaller bike, and I would have learned, like I would have probably gotten bored with it within 6 months to a year. Like it's just,
Yeah.
I feel like this I'm more comfortable, I can do my off-roading, but we can also, like if we need to, take the highway when we're going places or traveling.
Yeah, most of the trails that we ride, we're not very close to
We're
them.
not doing like single track either.
No, it's a lot of fire road stuff, and we're usually a good hour to 2 hour ride to get to the trailhead.
Yeah.
So having the bigger adventure bikes makes that a lot more enjoyable.
Yeah, when we did Tennessee, I was comfortable.
Yeah, plus we want to go camping and stuff, and just having a big heavy XT250 loaded up, I just can't see that handling very good on the road.
Yeah.
Plus, we'll get into some the performance parts on the bike. We've got it geared lower now, which we'll get into that here in a little bit. But it pulls really good, but it still cruises at 70 miles an hour if need be.
Just fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't shake or anything crazy.
No, where like an XT250 would be tapped out at 60, 65. All right, so along with the pros, there are also a few cons that we've noticed about the 390 Adventure. I'll let Megan handle this.
Yeah. So I guess my first con would be how heavy it is. When it goes down, and I'm still unable to pick it up. So I guess the second issue would be the stalling issue. Here recently, it's been doing it more than usual. But it's when I'm going down, like shifting down, it just turns off. But it's a work in progress, so hopefully we get it figured out. If you guys know any resolutions to that, let us know. And the biggest con of them all is the stupid traction control. I just wish it would stay off when I drop my bike or I stall out. Constantly having to reset it is super annoying. Hopefully KTM can fix that with an update later maybe. That's the biggest issue I have with this bike.
All right, so I guess I'll talk about the performance part since Megan doesn't know a whole lot about that stuff. We'll start off first as I'm over here on this side. The exhaust. Went through and did the full Dominator exhaust setup, and along with that, we did the Powertronics ECU. It really opened this bike up a lot and gave it a lot more bottom end power. If you're looking at doing something like that to your 390, I would recommend doing both of them at the same time. The Powertronics itself, when I just rode around on it, didn't seem like it did a whole lot for the bike. Like maybe it ran a little smoother, but that was it. The stock TKC 70 tires are really good tires for the road, and if you just want to ride like hard packed dirt stuff, they're pretty good, or gravel roads. But getting off on like the wet rocky stuff and getting out in the mud, definitely need to upgrade the tires. So we went with the TKC 80 on the front and a Shinko 805 on the rear, which they seem to be doing really good. Megan's put 4,200 miles on these tires. They still have a pile of tread left. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if these tires go 6,000 or 7,000 miles. We've also added a good bit of protection to the bike. You can see here we got the Black Dog Cycleworks skid plate and a KTM Power Parts aluminum radiator guard. We've changed out the stock handlebars to a set of CR high bend Pro Tapers and upgraded the plastic handguards to a set of Circa handguards. This is a solid handlebar setup. It's not the best. I think something with a little more control space on it would be better for this bike. Since the master cylinder is kind of on the bend, so it's canted just a little bit, they're not going nowhere. This bike ain't going to bend this handlebar setup. All right, along with the handlebars, the very first upgrade we did was we ditched the stock mirrors. for a set of double take mirrors. Well, watching MVDBR's review on their 390 and a couple other videos, it didn't take long to realize the stock mirrors are just garbage. So we ditched them pretty much immediately. All right, slowly making our way around to the front, we get up to like the first kind of like cosmetic upgrade. Well, I think it's the only cosmetic upgrade we did to the whole bike, and that was the high fender. It's a cosmetic upgrade, but it's also kind of like a safety thing. The stock low fender, if you're riding and you're getting some sticky mud, it can build up on the front tire and cause the front tire to lock up. And if there's any little thing I can do to this bike to keep Megan from just getting surprise slammed on the ground, like getting a bike with ABS versus non-ABS, I'm gonna do it. And that was one that I felt like it really needed, and I think it looks a lot better with it.
It looks like a duck. I don't know why.
Yeah, she thinks it looks like a duck, but I like the way it looks. It kind of looks like a little mini 790. We also went with the ADV Tribe headlight guard. Not sure if we're going to be at 500 subs or not by the end of this video, but we are giving one of those away at 500 subs, so stay tuned. One thing I forgot to mention when it comes to handlebars, we ditched the factory clutch lever. I've done it with every single bike I've ever had with a cable clutch. I've always ran RSC clutch levers. They're lifetime warranted. You break them, they replace them, no questions asked. And they're easy pull levers. They have 2 slots on the bottom of them. One's in the back for an easy pull setup, and the one in the front's for a standard pull. All right, and another thing up here in the front that we've done, and it's also in the back, is the start turn signals. They stick out just a smidge too far, and somehow Megan wasn't able to break them. But my dad riding it once, and me riding it almost, well, just a couple times, managed to break 2 turn signals. So we swapped out the stock turn signals for a set of little mini Tusk turn signals. One more thing that I forgot to mention too, when it comes to the exhaust and programmer, also put a K&N air filter in it, and the stock air box, a snorkel pre-filter. So I ended up taking and ordering an extra set of KTM 1290 pre-filters, and took the snorkel tube for the air box, cut the little bend off of it, and slipped a 1290 pre-filter onto it and zip tied it to it, just to give it a little bit more protection from the dirt and dust. Another little upgrade we done that goes everywhere this bike is Megan's little snack pack. It's just a Tusk tank bag. All right, and besides upgrading the tires, which being the #1 upgrade I would recommend anybody do to their 390, the #2, hands down to me, is the best performance upgrade you can do to it, and that is upgrading the chain and sprockets. We went ahead and ditched the factory gearing and went with a 14 tooth front and a 37 tooth rear, and if you ask me, it's perfect. Stock, you kind of got to ride the clutch a bunch, and Megan being a new rider, that's just not going to work off-road. Now, we can just let the clutch out, and it'll tractor up a fairly decent incline on blacktop, and it takes off just like a normal motorcycle should. And as far as riding on the road goes, in 6th gear, it is pulling, it's RPM to speed match perfect at miles per hour. If we're doing 50 miles per hour, it's sitting at 5,000 RPMs. If we're doing 70 miles an hour, it's sitting at 7,000 RPMs. So, I mean, you can still get this bike up to every bit of 100 miles an hour with this gearing.
But I won't.
All right, real quick, there's 2 things that we forgot to mention in the video that I want to go over real quick. #1 being that we're still on the factory wheels. Somehow, some way, Megan has not bent, dented, dinged, or anything to these wheels. There's a couple little chips on it for me changing tires, but that's it. And I can assure you that she's done absolutely nothing to try to protect them. I've heard that here in the States we got stronger wheels than some of the bikes overseas. I'm not sure if that's true or not, but it seems to be true. All right, the next thing that I wanted to mention is kind of a big one. When we first got this bike, it had Megan was having a lot of problems with like low oil pressure warning. And come to find out, that was a little bit of operator error there for her being a new rider and being so timid. She was putting around at first gear like really low RPMs, and it just wasn't building up enough oil pressure. Well, to fix that, instead of making her ride faster, that's one of the big reasons why I added the gearing. Like, not only does that help her get over rocks through rougher sections easier, just that low end power, it also causes the RPMs to bump up just a little bit, so the engine's not struggling so bad. Since the 390 has essentially a sport bike motor on it, it's not really made to be lugged out like, say, a KLR or a DRZ 400 or something like that. This bike right here kind of wants to be in the upper RPMs. Now it's fine. As long as you're riding around 1,500 RPMs or so, you shouldn't have any problems. All right, so now we're going to get into some of the kind of myths we found over the last year on the 390 Adventure. One being, everybody crying about these foot pegs. I mean, so many people want to cry and complain because they're canted just a little bit forward.
You don't even realize it.
Yeah, there's no way. I mean, the only way people are noticing that is because they're believing everybody says on the internet.
Yeah, or watching me stand up to ride. I'm still learning to stand up, so.
Yeah, she's just.
Yeah, that's a work in progress, but I don't think it's any issue.
No, and I've ridden on it, and I've had plenty of experience with standing up on motorcycles, and I've never noticed any kind of weird anything. All right, one thing I will agree with people when it comes to stock foot pegs and they want to upgrade to like wider ones for more comfort, I can agree with that and I can disagree with it at the same time. Instead of upgrading your foot pegs, you're better off taking that $200 you would spend on foot pegs and putting it towards a pair of boots. A good set of boots, a good hard sole on them, takes away that pressure point feeling that stock foot pegs give you. All right, and the next myth that we want to go ahead and debunk today is I've seen some big time reviewers here on I guess we can call them reviewers or whatever they are on YouTube, talking about how this isn't an off-road capable machine. It's more of like a road touring adventure bike or like a light gravel road cruiser. And I think that's been more than busted. This bike's more capable off-road than the vast majority of people out there riding them are. Don't let that influence your choice in whether or not.
It's got adventure in its name.
Yeah, I mean, come on.
I think it's just what you make it.
Yeah. All right, so another thing I've seen people saying online is that it's not a very good bike for the new rider because it makes too much power. Megan, what do you have to say about that?
No, that's false. It doesn't make a lot of power.
No, I mean, it makes more than enough to get you down the road, but it's not going to get away from you.
No.
I mean, it could, but it's not going to.
I've never accidentally wheelied it or anything, like giving it too much throttle or.
No, even the way it's set up now, in the configuration we have it set up with the Towertronics, the exhaust, and the gearing, it will power wheelie, but I have to yank on it to get it to come up and give it all the beans it has. And that'll kind of lead us on to like what do we think this bike was designed for and who it's intended for? I personally think this is probably one of the best beginner motorcycles on the market. I mean, it comes factory with crash bars, so if you're a new rider and you drop it, you got nothing to worry about really as far as like breaking anything major. I mean, you might scratch the hand guards, but they're made to be scratched. But it's just a do-all, go anywhere, do anything bike. I mean, you don't know exactly what path you want to take as far as riding motorcycles go. This bike right here will kind of lead you in one direction. You might learn that you like riding blacktop more. You can put a more street-focused tire on it.
Gravel.
Yeah, anything like that.
Single track.
Or you might realize you really like the off-road stuff, and maybe later on down the road you upgrade to something like a 690 maybe. And or it comes with crash bars. You decide you really like wheelies and you want to get into stunt riding, and you go buy a 636 next. You never know. I mean, this bike can teach you just about anything. Load it up with camping gears, take it out, have fun. All right, so we're going to close this video out. It's not my motorcycle, it's Megan's. So I'll let her give her final thoughts and opinions on what she thinks about her 390 Adventure.
I just really like it. It's perfect. I mean, short and simple.
Oh, there you go, people. She really likes it. That's all there is to know.
I do. I love it.
Yep. And just go ahead and beat it in the ground how good of a bike it is for the beginner rider. Megan, what size wheels are on your bike?
17 and 24. No, 17, 22. 22 to 17. I knew it before. Am I close? I don't know. Tell me.
She knows absolutely nothing about motorcycles.
Yeah, I don't.
All right, so we hope.
I learned a lot, kind of. Like, I know what a clutch is.
Do you?
Yeah.
What does the clutch do?
It's right here.
What does it do?
It shifts the gears.
Does it?
Yeah.
The shifter don't do that?
Oh, yeah.
All right, so we hope this helps anybody who's kind of on the fence of buying the 390. I know the new model's coming out. It's a little bit different, but it's still the same platform pretty much.
Just do it.
Yeah. If you're on the fence with it, and you'll be happy with it, I can almost guarantee it. All right, see y'all in the next one.
Peace out. I've never stood on my bike. I'm nervous.